And what a morning it is. Dr. Ron Vaughn, Miss Renee Vaughn, members of the boards of trustees, academic deans, faculty, and our special guest, Miss Gladys Dunn, up here in the front row. Oh, the chair is empty. Don't worry, by the time I'm finished, you'll all be glad it's done. Come on. Get it? I regret to inform you there will be dad jokes in this speech. So, and most importantly, University of Tampa, class of 2023. Give yourself a round of applause. Today marks a significant milestone in your lives, and I congratulate each and every one of you on your achievement, and especially our valedictorian, Mr. Shot G. Partey. Did I pronounce that right? Oh no, it's Chat GPT? Oh, sorry, I kid. As the introducer said, my name is Jeff Drushal, University of Tampa, class of 1989, and I am humbled and amazed, honored and privileged to be here with you today to celebrate your graduation and to serve as your commencement speaker. It seems like only yesterday when I graduated, our commencement speaker was Florida Congressman Connie Mack from a baseball royal family and a political dynasty. I apologize for the downgrade. It was hot. It was in the traffic circle on UT's campus. We may or may not have had bottles of champagne hidden under our gowns, but only for hydration. Although when we moved our tassels, it did sound like an artillery barrage out in the crowd. There's no proof because it was pre-Instagram. I had the opportunity to serve as your commencement speaker, and I jumped at it, and I want to tell you why. So I'm going to tell you my story, and I'm going to try to keep it together when I tell it. UT changed my life. 12,944 days ago, I was sitting in my uncomfortable folding chair with only one obstacle between me and walking across the stage. This guy. So let's put that in perspective. The cost of a gallon of gas was 90 cents, which meant you could put $2 of gas in your 1967 Volkswagen at the gas station across the street where you all buy your vapes and your Zyn tins. And it would last you a week. A gallon of milk cost $2.34. The number one song was Like a Prayer by Madonna, and she actually looked like Madonna. The most popular movie was Batman, and there were only two superhero movies, Superman and Batman. You could see North Boulevard from the patio of Plant Hall. UT was a small, sleepy, relatively unknown private school with 2,500 students. Neither of the dorms that I lived in exist any longer. The fraternity all-star football teams from UT and USF played in the Bud Bowl in Pepin Rood Stadium, and beer was served, and parking on campus was plentiful. All right, back to my story. I was an Army brat, so I was always the new kid in school. My dad retired at MacDill Air Force Base in 1981 and did that to my brother, John, who's the UT class of 1987, and I could stop being the new kid in school, and so we go to the same high school. I went to Chamberlain High School out on Bush Boulevard. I had a mildly successful time in high school. I played football. We went to the state championship. Arena football MVP and former NFL coach Jay Gruden was the quarterback. I'm responsible for more sacks of Jay Gruden than any other football player. Of course, I was on the offensive line, and I was responsible for preventing that. But I take credit for it. I was in the band, and yes, there was one of those meme-like band photos of me in two poses, the main one and then the upper one, somewhere out there. I played the bass clarinet, which everyone knows is the most manly and intimidating member of the clarinet family. I had goodish grades, goodish SAT score. I went to Hillsborough Community College, or back then we called it Yale on Dale. I took my classes and I worked at the Chili's out at Carrollwood. My dad got a job in Southern California, so I moved there and went to yet another JUCO, worked in yet another Chili's restaurant. All the kids were rich kids that were into the LA party scene, and all the restaurant staff was into heavy drugs. So I just kept my head down and went to school. No plan, no direction. I just, was told from birth, you're going to college. Well, okay, I'm going. So I went to college. I had no interest in anything. And so about that time, my older brother, John, graduated from UT. And then clarity hit. I need to fight to get back to Tampa. It's funny how having little money and no options provides clarity. So my grades were slightly above average, and I like to work hard, but that's about all I had going for me. And so what do you do in 1986 when you're all out of money and options? Cue the music. Be all that you can be. So I called the Army. So I went to ROTC basic camp, and I fought and fought and fought to get a 2-year ROTC scholarship back to the University of Tampa. And I failed. I performed exceptionally well in camp, and it was 6 weeks of leadership training and technical training as well. I was 3 credits shy of qualifying for the scholarship. It was soul-crushing. When I found out, I went around the side of the building and ugly cried for about 25 minutes. It was the lowest point in my life. So after talking to the school, I found out that Army training had college credit value. And so the registrar worked with me, and we articulated what exactly the training was, and I got credit for my Army service, and that put me above the line, and I applied for the next round of scholarships, and I received a scholarship to the University of Tampa. I found out when I was literally on the road from California to Florida in my powder blue 1981 VW Rabbit convertible. Once again, the most manly and intimidating car for a man of that time. I literally had no plan what I was going to do if that scholarship didn't come through. I just knew I was going back to Florida. So in 1987, I started as a junior. I showed up for my 6 weeks of Army training at Fort Knox, routinely road marching on roads that contain the hills referred to as heartbreak, misery, and agony. Google it, it's a thing. And my daughter will find that out this summer, so ha. Head shaved, 165 pounds at 6'2", I immediately earned the name Ichabod after Ichabod Crane from the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I later learned he was not ruggedly handsome and charismatic, but tall and skinny with a big Adam's apple. That was me. I showed up for classes, for ROTC, and for my fraternity, Sigma Phi Epsilon, rest in peace. I was blown away by the quality of the young people here. I went from working with coked-out restaurant workers to studying with high school class presidents, college athletes, residence assistants, student government reps, UT diplomats, ROTC leadership cadre. In fact, last night at the Alumni Awards dinner, I linked in with the person I was talking about, and that was Christopher Hughes. His bio is in your program. That's who I'm talking about. Guys and men and women like that. Those were my new peer groups. I went back and looked through my year group, and between my fraternity and ROTC, about 40 positions of the leadership in student government and various clubs were in those two groups. With this came new expectations and a different kind of peer pressure, the pressure to excel and make a difference. The fraternity was the fraternity of values and of value. SIGEP was the fraternity of the year for 4 years running and had the highest GPA on campus. ROTC was over 220 cadets and had its own set of expectations and instilled values. Academically challenging for me. Also the business school, great leaders like Dr. Leon Hoke, Dr. Gil Joseph, a young firebrand you may know, Dr. Ron Vaughn, and even Dr. Jeffries, who I should also note was my 8th grade history teacher at Buchanan Junior High School. Outside of the business school was the legendary Tampa artist, Joe Testaseca, who recently passed. He was no fan of my paintings, but he was a great teacher and a coach nonetheless. I was pushed out of my comfort zone. I learned how to study, how to apply myself, and how to be part of a team, and how to be responsible. The curriculum was intellectually challenging and all handwritten. A computer was harder to find than on-campus dorms for a senior. Nothing for the seniors? Okay. So let's contrast this with your experience. Enrollment is almost 11,000 students. UT is a top 15% school in undergraduate education and was ranked by Princeton Review for Entrepreneurship Studies. It has a top-ranked MBA program, multiple NCAA Division II championships, with 15 coming during the tenure of the not-so-young firebrand, Dr. Ron Vaughn. You're, for the most part, Gen Z, the first digitally native generation, computer savvy, Smartphone enabled, the types of adversity you faced are much different than those of previous generations. You grew up as children of the Great Recession of 2008. The double-edged sword of digital enablement provides challenges with relationships. And then we get to COVID. In my opinion, COVID wrecked your college experience. Remote learning, no gatherings, social distancing, mask mandates, punitive policies. You as a group had to show determination, diligence, resilience, patience, compassion, and understanding. You worked hard not to contract or transmit the disease, but also not to let it define your college experience. You bring these challenges into your UT experience. It's rich in resources, opportunities, and an incredibly supportive environment. I'm amazed by the number of clubs that you have at UT, and if you don't find the club you want, you just start your own club and get it endorsed by the university. The Entrepreneurship Center is second to none. I'm in awe whenever I visit this campus and take a look at these facilities. Congratulations to Dr. Vaughn and the incredible faculty and staff at UT for building this university into what it is today. So now we get to the part of the delivery where I give advice. There's significant risk here of ending up as a meme of how Gen X doesn't get Gen Z, yada, 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 or some derisive okay boomer comment, because obviously you all think I'm as old as a baby boomer. I make these comments not as a critique of the student body or your generation, but as a critique of myself when I was sitting where you are. It's a list of lessons learned from years of working, living, raising a family, and trying my best to be a good person. First, balance. Life is like a triangle with family, work, and physical and mental health at the vertices. That's the pointy parts for you non-math majors. It's not an isosceles triangle all the time. It changes shape based on what's going in your life. You have to provide care and feeding to your family, work, and your physical and mental health at all times. However, if you have to surge for something work-related, something will have to give. If you have a family situation you must attend to, something will have to give. And the triangle changes shape based on what's going on in your life. You should always strive to have balance in the three areas. Don't give any part of the triangle, anyone, or anything too much power over you. Drugs, alcohol, vape, work, friends who cause drama, coworkers who cause drama, family members who cause drama, your phone, Fortnite. These are all things that can skew the triangle. You are your own master, so be your own master. Second point, always be hustling. The term work ethic has almost become a pejorative. I rose to the rank of Major General. The top less than 1% of Army officers make it there by always taking the hardest job and doing the best I can in the most challenging environments. When I did this, it skewed my triangle for a little while, but it was only temporary. Have your mind set on the next level. Oh, I'm at Publix, bagging groceries. Yes, I did that. I want to stock shelves. Then I want to be a cashier. More responsibility, more versatility. Oh, I'm at Chili's washing dishes. Yes, I did that. I wanted to move through the whole kitchen, all the way through the grill, and then wait tables, and then 10 bar. Oh, wait, I'm a platoon leader in the Army. I want to be a company commander, and then I want to be a battalion commander. Be the most indispensable employee you can. Master the what's now, but aspire to the what's next. Third point, be humble. Eliminate I and me from your vocabulary and replace them with we and us, unless you're in a job interview and they're asking you what you did. Fourth point, treat all people with dignity and respect. If you read the news, our nation is challenged in this regard right now. Spend a lot of time listening to other people's stories and opinions. Listen to understand, not to respond. Being in a discussion doesn't automatically mean you're in an argument to be won or lost. Whether at work or play, people will remember you for your significant work achievements, your GPA, the clubs you led, your awards, how much sales, how many convoys you led. But what they'll remember you is how you treated them, whether you understood them, and whether you trusted them, and how these elements changed under periods of increased stress. Fifth point, relationships matter. In your personal life, professional life, always introduce yourself to someone before you need something from them. I don't mean in the same meeting, hi, I'm Jeff, and then 15 minutes later, here's my business card. Spend time getting to know people and helping them achieve their goals, and you never know when you're going to need their help. You might not. In the workplace, we will all commit a process foul at one time or another. The most common is, I need this now. Have the relationship in place for you to overcome and negotiate that process foul. The next point, don't drift. I spent many years drifting, and then I got married, and I wasn't allowed to drift anymore. Don't just have a plan with some unthought out end state where you want to be physically, financially, emotionally, and intellectually. The question, where do you see yourself in 5 years, is a great question. It deserves introspection, attention, deliberation. It's not an on-the-spot answer. The question, though, is incomplete as asked. It's a commonly asked question. What are your goals? Goals are only words without a concrete strategy to allow you to meet them and a method of holding yourself accountable for executing the strategy. I don't know who said it, but it's a brilliant statement. Don't be surprised at the results you don't get from the work that you didn't put in. I'll repeat that. Don't be surprised at the results you don't get from the work you didn't put in. So, you have to hold yourself accountable to the work that you said you were going to do to get to your goals. Understand your values and commit to modeling them in your personal and professional life. Prioritize. So, when we were executing the evacuation of refugees for Afghanistan, you may have read about it in the news, the Central Command Commanding General, Marine General Frank McKenzie told me daily, I can get you any resource you need except time. Time is the only thing of which the universe can't give you more. You must prioritize the things that you think are important. When I'm mentoring young people, whether at school or work, when I ask about a particular challenge they're experiencing and I hear, I don't have the time, I always give them the same response. Let's be honest. Don't tell me you don't have the time. Just tell me that you have other priorities. And that usually, makes them take a step back, and it will reframe the conversation about how people spend their time. Inventory your time and find out how much of it you're wasting. I apparently wasted some time because I didn't finish this next joke because I have a note in here. The script says insert Fortnite, Minecraft, and pointless YouTube video joke here. I didn't get around to it. It fell off the priority list. All right, and I only have 2 more bits of advice and I'll wrap it up. That's usually where I get the applause. And these are both dad advice. Nothing good happens after midnight. If you don't believe me, pull out either Google or good old ChatGPT and ask when most of the arrests happen. The second point is a little bit more serious. You are who your friends are. Keep friends that uplift you and make you a better person, and discard those that do the opposite, because you will be judged by your friend group. And so, we covered my long-winded story about how UT changed my life, the differences between the UT I grew up with and the UT you have, the opportunity that UT has had to change your life. I'm eternally grateful to the University of Tampa and how it impacted me and my family. It's produced countless military officers, business scions, entrepreneurs, members of government, and without its influence, I wouldn't be where I am today. Hopefully, upon reflection, you'll feel the same way. We covered some advice I have for you for graduating and entering the workforce. I'll post it on LinkedIn. Hit me up. And now we're going to wrap it up. So congratulations to the class of 2023. Your future is bright. May God bless you and your families as you venture forward. God bless the University of Tampa. God bless America. Now let's make some dang graduates.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for the wisdom that you've shared with us today as well. And I just want to say we owe him a great debt and his family for his extensive service to our country. So thank you, Jeff.